I want to get really tactical with you guys. 10K Mastermind CLA is all about how do you post content, how do you generate leads, how do you book sales calls, set up your program. The $1 Million Mastermind is all about how do you develop a leadership team. The $1 Million Mastermind is all about how do you develop leadership skills. The $1 Million Mastermind, the students that are the most successful understand leadership. Because when you first get started, you're on the front lines, right? Like you're the person that's talking to the client, you're the person that's talking to the prospect, you're the person that's doing the check-ins, you're the person that's following up with people. So it's pretty easy to hold a high standard, right? Just don't be an idiot. But when it comes to building a team, now you've got other people on the front line responsible for your business. And so if you do not develop your leadership skills, and yes, leadership is a skill, just like sales, just like content, just like marketing. If you don't develop your leadership skills, your business will never grow. The business never outgrows the psychology of the leader. And so today, I'm gonna be talking to you guys about some personal psychology with myself and what I do and how I level up as a leader so that, I continue to have people like Janelle that follow me, people like Cole that follow me. Like Cole's a beast, he doesn't need to be here. But the reason that me and Cole can build this together is because both Cole and I are good leaders. So I follow him and he follows me. Does that make sense? Perfect. So, table of contents. What is the purpose of your business? The entrepreneurial employee paradox. Leadership starts and ends with you. The 5 character flaws of weak leaders. And the 5 laws of leadership. So what's the purpose of your business? Now, when I first got started, the purpose of my business was very simple. Freedom. Freedom is actually my number 1 core value, and so everything that I run through in my business goes through the lens of, does this give me more freedom or less freedom? That's why I quit working for somebody else, because I'm like, working for somebody else gives me less freedom, AKA it goes against my core value, so I'm not gonna do it. That's also why Cole and I stopped doing we did VIP coaching. We had like 15 VIP one-on-one clients. We stopped it for 2 years. I'm like, this doesn't give me freedom. I have to be in a certain place at a certain time, locked in. I'm like, it goes against my core value. I wanted to be able to travel the world when I wanted, with who I wanted, whenever I wanted, and I didn't care that I was staying in shitty $15 Airbnbs when I was in Bali, because I'm like, I'm free, I'm like working from my laptop in Bali, traveling the world. I'm like, this is my definition of freedom. All I cared about is the fact that I was doing something that I love, helping people with their online businesses, and I was free to make my own life. So freedom. And then we started making more money, okay? And it's almost like when you first get started in your online coaching business, there's like this, we hear feels like they went through a honeymoon phase in the CLA and the 10K, and they're like, this is fun, You're making money and you go through the honeymoon phase, and then you're like, I'm gonna join the mastermind. I'm gonna build a team. It's gonna be sick. And then the first person that comes into your business, you have to fire. And then the second person fucks you over. And then you hire a coach that steals 5 of your clients, and you're like, fuck building a team. I'm going solo. Not only that, I became responsible for the likelihood of others. And as my income grew more and more, we attracted more and more people to work for the business. And now the business was not only responsible for me feeding my family, but it was responsible for feeding Cole's family. It was responsible for feeding Julia, feeding my trainers on my team's family. That added responsibility combined with the hunger for more money kept me working 12 to 14 hours a day. Since we're being honest, money has always been like a core motivating factor for why, we're talking about the purpose of my business, right? To be transparent, I've always set money goals and I've chased them ferociously because I think that money is a measurement of your self-development. And we can see that because everybody that came on stage that's making $100,000 a month, what did they say? I don't fucking miss. I have integrity. I haven't missed in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So I believe that money is simply a measuring tool for how developed you are as a person. So I've always been motivated for money, but it's not the reason that I'm a great leader. Because imagine if I went to my team meetings and I'm like, thanks for making me money, bitches. Love y'all. I fucking love y'all, all right? I appreciate you guys. Thanks for making me money. But it was one of the sparks that lit the flame that caused me to be a great leader, but I was motivated by something different. My own internal mechanism, my own core values, my own clock that told me that I didn't just build a business so I could become a prisoner to the business. How many of you guys feel like you're a prisoner to your business sometimes? That's what happens when we just chase the dollar sign, right? And again, don't get me wrong, I love making money, but I'm not gonna make money while sacrificing the purpose of my business. And what's the purpose of my business? Freedom. Exactly. So I built a business so that I could have freedom. That's why I built a business. Now, every one of you guys is going to have a different reason why you built your business. So, show of hands, how many of you guys feel like sometimes you are a slave to your own business? It's like you built this thing, you're making money, and all of a sudden you're fucking trapped and you feel like you're a slave. Like, if you took any time off of the business would implode. Like, if you took your eye off the ball, sales would go down, your marketing would suffer, and you wouldn't make as much money. How many of you guys feel like that? Right? Well, you're not alone. This is my whole fucking life. And when Brian Mark was on, shit was popping. And when Brian Mark was off, shit was not popping. Right? And that's a problem. Like that's a very big liability. That's a very big risk for the business. If the business depends on you and you alone, like yeah, that'll get you to 10 to 20K, but that is not gonna get you to Trent Harrison's level. That is not gonna get you to Janelle's level. That's not gonna get you to Don's level. Listen, for me, this is a recipe for failure when the business sustainably depends on the work ethic of one individual. Recipe for failure. And that's why you guys join the $1 Million Mastermind, is because you're like, I don't want that, right? Like I want somebody else to be able to help me with my business so that I can come to this event and make money while I'm here. How many of you guys have made money while you're at the event as a $1 Million Mastermind student? That's it, right? That's the fucking point. That is the entire point. That's the purpose. That's why we're doing this. And honestly, speaking of this event, if you ask me how this event came to be, I honestly have no idea. I have no clue. A lot of you guys have come up to me and you're like, hey, this thing about the gold ticket and this thing. I'm like, you're asking the wrong fucking person, bro. Like, I'm fucking right over my head. I just have to show up and be handsome, all right? Now, I don't know how much the venue cost, like the connections that we had to have to make it happen, how the website got built. I don't know how Britzy set up the gallery. I don't know what the negotiations look like. I don't know what the food cost. I don't know any of it. My team handled the whole thing. By the way, if you signed up for the CLA 10K Mastermind or $1 Million Mastermind yesterday, raise your hand. Yeah. Right? I didn't sign you up. My team did. Imagine if I just had to sit back there for fucking 5 hours and just take orders. Again, I love making money, but it sacrifices my what? Freedom. I want to be able to go into the venue, go out of the venue, go to the washroom, say hi to people, but I don't know. I want freedom. The virtual event setup and the plan for the itinerary, the swag bags, the dinner reservations, all of this was done under my leadership and direction without my direct involvement. So I was still weighing in on my opinion, but I wasn't like making the fucking micro decisions with like which room we should get. I'm like making the macro decisions like we're doing it in Houston. Has to be close enough to Alphaland to drive, you know? Like those are macro decisions, and then the how isn't up to me, it's up to my team. Cool, so the purpose of my business is to give me what I desire most in life, my core motivating factor, freedom. That is the purpose of my business. If the business does not give me freedom, it does not serve its core purpose, and I must make changes or adjustments to get what I desire in life most out of my business, freedom. What is the purpose of your business? When you think about that for a second, what is the purpose of your business? Obviously you want to make more money, but why? What's the purpose of your business? Is it so that you can take care of your family? Is it so you can be a better person for your family? Is it so that you can give your family what they want? Like, what is the purpose of your business? Is it so that you can travel the world and not be on anyone else's schedule? Is it so that you have like location independence? Is it because you want to be able to travel and meet other people and just work and connect and vibe? Like, what's the purpose of your business? If you had to distill it into a single sentence or word, what comes to mind? Write it down. And this is the thing, is sometimes this will change and sometimes you will uncover more of this as you develop as an individual. And I honestly didn't find out that my core value in life was freedom until I got it taken away from me. And what I mean by taken away from me, I voluntarily did that because I'm a dumbass and I signed 15 VIP clients because I thought I wanted to make more money. And then I went to Cole one day, I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Because like this means that we have to be stuck in one place for one time, and it was like 3 or 4 days a week we're doing 2 to 4 hour calls. I'm like, I don't like this anymore. So let's hear some answers. Purpose of your business. Chris, what is the purpose of your business? Perfect, so I love that. So his is experiences. I'm gonna talk about why this is important. Because let's say, there comes a weekend where you know if you work the whole weekend you can make more money, but your family wants to go to Disneyland. Now making more money seems like the obvious answer, like I want to make more money, but if you make more money on that weekend, you're actually sacrificing the purpose of your business, right? Or if you have your daughter's dance recital or whatever, and you're excited to go, but you're like, I gotta take the sales call, it interferes with the purpose of your business. And so we need to design a business that doesn't have that. Maybe we have to hire a phone closer, maybe we do sell by chat, maybe we find a different system, but we never sacrifice the core purpose of our business. Are you guys with me? Does this make sense? Yeah. All right, who else? Carter, go ahead.
Mine is to create a life of freedom and limitless possibilities for my family.
I love that, round of applause. I love that. And the reason that I love that is because your purpose of your business is very different. You're like, I never want to tell my wife no to anything. That requires a different level of work ethic. That requires a different level of sacrifice. You want that level of life, like you gotta be willing to go to like that fucking level. And so you might have to make temporary sacrifices, like time, energy, resources, whatever, so that you can develop yourself into the person that never has to say no to anything. I never say no to anything to Kirsten. Kirsten's like, she never fucking asks me for anything, actually. I pretty much have to beg to buy her shit, because you're just like, right, it's just like, no, I'm good, no. But you guys understand what I'm saying. Kirsten, I know, I'm married to you, of course I know your story, that was stupid. But you, at one point, were like, money, right? And it's because her business was popping, she had momentum, she's just like grind. And then she woke up one day and she looked at me and she's like, I don't like this anymore. This is not fun for me anymore. And all of a sudden, all the money that she was making, she realized she wasn't spending as much time with Haley as she wanted. She wasn't driving Haley to school when she wanted. She wasn't going for coffees with Haley. She wasn't going to the mall with Haley. She just wasn't spending time with Haley. And that was the whole reason she started the business in the first place. And so she was sacrificing what she wanted most for what she thought she wanted. And as a result, she was out of alignment. And if we're out of alignment as a leader, what do you think that's going to put into our team? We're going to bring that chaotic, out of alignment, lack of energy, I don't want to be here, attitude and environment for our team. Are you guys with me? Does this make sense? Yeah. So you have to understand what the purpose of your business is. And it might change over time as well. And you might not know what the purpose of your business is, and it might not come to you right away, but this is a question worth considering for a long period of time until you come to the answer. It's not like the idea of freedom fell into my fucking lap. I realized it when I was burned the fuck out and I was working 14-hour days, and I was like, we were making, there was like 800,000 to $1 million a month, and I was like, I don't fucking want to do this. I don't want to sign any more clients that are paying us high dollar amounts for one-on-one time. I don't want to fucking do it. And then we built the business to a place where the business systems were good and everything was calm, and then I was like, oh, okay, I have freedom now. I'm like, now I actually want to do one-on-one. Now I do one-on-one with Chloe and Harry. Now I do one-on-one with Patrick. Like now I want to because I have more freedom back, so I have more space to do the things that I want to do. Next, the entrepreneur-employee paradox. This is funny because I think that as the reason we start our business is so that we can say, fuck the man, am I right? I ain't working for nobody, I'm a beast. Brian Mark is unemployable, all right? Do you remember how fucking good it felt to quit your 9-to-5? How many of you guys like know that feeling? When you walked into your 9-to-5, I was like, never again, motherfucker. See you never. If I come back, fire me instantly because I'm gonna suck, all right? It's a good feeling, right? That feeling when you realize your online business was making enough money that you never had to work for somebody else ever again. You remember how good that felt? Everybody remember that? Yeah. Right? It felt good. That feeling is so liberating. It's so empowering. It's like I've been like fighting for this for so long. And here's what's crazy, right? Most of us hold this feeling too close, and that's why we're not able to find high-value employees. Because we hold that feeling of freedom and liberation so close. It's almost like a fucking flag we plant in the ground. You're like, I don't fucking work for nobody. I'm a beast, right? And here's why that's a problem. Because we spend our entire career breaking free from the shackles of our 9-to-5. And then as we scale our online coaching business to a place where we cannot handle the workload ourselves and we need to hire outside help, we almost feel guilty that we're hiring someone else to work for us. Like, we feel weird. You're like, you just broke free from the man. And now you're like, now I'm the man? Yes, you are. Yes, you fucking are, okay? Yes, you fucking are. And you must become that. You must be okay with people following you. You must be okay with the idea that you're responsible for someone else's livelihood. You must step into that and embrace it and own it and be like, I am the fucking man. And you should. You spend a lot of time and energy to build this business. You spent a lot of money to be in this room. You spent a lot of years sacrificing to get to the level that you're at, and that's why people want to work for you. Do you guys get that? But if you feel guilty hiring them, they're gonna sense that you're not actually their leader. Why would they follow you? They can sense that there's something weird out of alignment. It's like I'm following the SOP and I'm getting them to sign a workflow and I'm watching their shit, but you feel guilty having them work for you. And so because you feel guilty, when they fuck up, you're not willing to be like, hey, that's not what we do here. That is unacceptable behavior. Because you feel weird. You're like, I don't want to piss them off or whatever. I'm telling you, if you work for my company and you fuck up, you know fast. You know very fast. You know very fast. And it's because of the fucking standard that I set. And I know how hard I worked to build this business, and I'm not gonna let anybody fuck with it. I mean, like, isn't that the idea that we just conquered? You know what I mean? We just conquered working for somebody else, and now we want to get someone else to work for us. And again, we get these feelings of like, why would someone want to work for me when they could just start their own business? How many of you guys felt like that? Why would someone work for me when they could just start their own business? How many of you guys have ever felt like that? Raise your hand. It's because you're not like them. It's because you're not fucking like them. There's something special inside of you that brought you to this room today. And even if you're in the CLA or the 10K and you bought a ticket just to be in the room, you're still fucking here. The universe brought you here for a fucking reason. There's something special inside of you. You were born to lead, otherwise you would not be here. And those of you guys who do not want to, or who are not ready to, or who would not like to learn how to lead, like running a business is fucking hard, dude. And I don't care who tells you otherwise. There's not a lot of motherfuckers that have what it takes to run a very successful online fitness business. It's a lot. When you hear Lauren and Dylan talking about like, I don't fucking miss, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day, and it's been like that for the last year and a half, and we haven't missed a day. That's pretty hard, am I right? Same thing with Trent Harrison. Trent, how many babies do you have? 3? Is fucking Taylor here right now? Hi, Taylor. 3, and 1's adopted. How old are they? 3, 2, and 1. And you get motherfuckers being like, I can't post on social media because I have a kid running around. Like, do you fucking see this? You're not like them. And that's why they need to work for you, so that you can lead them. Most people, this is the thing about most people, right? Most people value safety and security, am I right? So, most people would rather work for somebody where they know they're going to have work, they know it's secure, they know they're gonna be safe, and the way that they know that is because you're a great leader. Because the results speak for themselves. Because you show up every day. And so they see that character, they see that tenacity, they see that intensity, they see that ability in you, and they want to follow you because they know if they follow you, they'll be safe. But when we feel weird hiring people, we create what's called cognitive dissonance. Who here knows what cognitive dissonance is? It's where you have 2 conflicting ideologies in your mind that are basically fighting each other. Bam! On one side, you're like, I feel so bad getting people to work for me. I'm not a great leader. I've never lead people. How many of you guys ever felt like that? I'm not a great leader. I don't know why people would work for me. Blah, 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 blah. And on the other side, you're like, I need people to work for me to scale my business. I can figure this out. I can learn anything. I see other people doing it. Like, it must be possible. But these ideas are constantly fighting each other in our mind. And because they're fighting each other in our mind, we're never able to just like let go and step into it. These 2 conflicting ideologies is where most of you guys live. Most of the time, which is why your income hasn't grown beyond your growth ceiling. I know I need to lead people, but I don't want to. I know I need to lead people, but it's really hard. I know I need to lead people, but I feel guilty having somebody else work for me. I know I need a VA, but I feel bad telling them when they're f***ing up. I know I need coaches on my team, but I feel bad holding the standard because I view them as a homie and not as a fucking coach on my team, an employee. You're spending too much time in your own mind and not enough time leading your people. Repeat after me. I need a team.
I need a team.
Repeat after me. I will lead my team.
I will lead my team.
Repeat after me. I am a great leader.
I am a great leader.
Say it like you mean it. I am a great leader.
I am a great leader.
You must become a great leader. It starts with a decision, like everything else we talked about on the stage today, like Clayton making the decision to go pro. It's like, I'm going fucking pro. What does that mean? Everything that comes with going pro. What does it mean to be a great leader? Everything that comes with being a great leader. It starts with a decision. I'm no longer going to stand on the fence. I'm not gonna consider whether or not I should do it. I'm not gonna wonder whether or not I should hire people. I'm just gonna lead. I'm gonna lead my people. Now, there's only 24 hours in a day, right? And trust me, I've tried everything. I've maximized my time, that feeling where you're doing everything you can to optimize your time, and you still end up doing 2 full days of check-ins. How many of you guys have ever been there? You're like, I'm optimizing. Yeah, you're fucking optimizing, and now you need people to fucking help you. You can't optimize anymore. If somebody can teach me how to optimize 48 hours into a day, I would appreciate that, okay? Sign me up. I need more Brian Marks in my life. That feeling where you're so immersed in one side of your business that when you're working on this shit, you're doing your 2 days of check-ins, and you're like, oh, fuck, I haven't posted any organic and good content in a while. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna go back to posting content, and then you're like, oh, fuck, I forgot to lead gen. And then now you're lead genning and everything's good, and you're like, oh, shit, I need to make time in my calendar for sales calls. And then you're like, oh my God, I got 2 more days of check-ins. You guys, who here has fucking been in that cycle? You're just like, and then while you're playing catch up with this side of your business, there's a fire over here that you need to put out. And then a client asks to cancel, and then somebody asks for a refund, and then somebody quits, and you're like, what the fuck, right? Stop. With one person working 8 hours a day, you have 8 hours of work capacity, right? So if Anthony works in his business 8 hours a day, he's got 8 hours of work capacity. If Anthony hires somebody else to work for him for 8 hours a day, he's got 16 hours of work capacity. If Anthony hires 3 people to work for him per day, he's got 24 hours of work capacity. It's the same 24 hours, but we're getting 3 times the amount of work done. If Anthony hires 4 people, now he's got 32 hours of work capacity, meaning that the amount of work that your business is able to get done in a shorter period of time is extensive. And so what we need to do, write this down, is expand your capacity. That's why we hire people. I'm not hiring people to fucking, follow a checklist. I'm hiring people to expand my capacity. I want to be able to get more work done in a shorter period of time. I literally have 9 VAs that work in my account at all. I think there's 9 or 10 or 11. I don't even fucking know. There's a lot, okay? There's a lot. But every day from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m., there's 3 VAs in my account. Lead gen specialist, opener, closer. Every day from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. in my account, there's 3 people in my account. Lead gen specialist, opener, and closer. Every day from 5 p.m. to midnight, there's 3 people in my account. Lead gen specialist, opener, and closer. So the reason that we're able to book 70 sales calls every week is because I have more capacity than you. 72 hours a day in my DMs. You're spending 8. Even if you're spending 8, I'll destroy you because I have more people. Get it? And a lot of you guys have the space in your inbox, dude. You got a big Instagram. And Trent, that was one of the things that we did with you that really took it to the next fucking level. Is we're 3 a.m. to 9 p.m. You hear that? How many people in your account?
4.
4 people in his account, 3 a.m. to 9 p.m. I think that was the single biggest thing that we did with Trent's business that took it to the next level. We just increased the capacity. Same content strategy, same marketing strategy, same blueprint, but we increased the amount of work that we were able to get done in a shorter period of time. With each team member that you hire, you give yourself the ability to get more work done in less periods of time, which means it's easier for you to grow. Cool. Now leadership starts and ends with you. You guys want the ultimate mirror into your soul? Go take a good hard look at your business and you'll find it. Here's what I mean by that, right? How many of you guys have ever gotten super triggered because of something that happened in your business? Raise your hand, be honest. I'm not gonna shame you, I swear to God. Me too. And you know what that did? That made me realize I had some fucking internal work to do. One of my best clients was in my program, did my VIP, whatever, and then ended up canceling their contract earlier than they were supposed to. And I am not proud of this, but I reacted super negatively and emotionally, and I sent a voice note that I shouldn't have sent. And after I sent that voice note and I reacted negatively, I realized like I had done this in the past too. To clients that like were really close to me and then they had to cancel for whatever reason, and I'm like, what the f? Like, I felt like I was deserved of their money. I felt like I was deserved of their loyalty. And so when they left, I felt like they fucking did me wrong and I had to like express that, but it was like, that's my own abandonment issues. And I literally just sent my own abandonment issues in a fucking voice note to somebody that I valued. So 2 months later, I DM'd her and I apologized. I was like, I'm really fucking sorry. I acted like a child. This is the ultimate mirror into your soul, is your business. Dawson, me and you talked about this, right? I love you to death. I think you're gonna hit 100,000. But I'm like, the only thing that's gonna hold you back from that is this. No matter what the fuck comes up, you were like the calmest, like most centered dude on the fucking planet, and nothing throws you off. Because I'm assuming that stress response has probably been active in your life for most of your life. You guys get what I'm saying? Your business isn't the ultimate mirror into your fucking soul, which is why I think that the business never outgrows the psychology of the leader, number 1. And number 2, why I track my income, because my income is a measuring tool for my personal development. Yes, I love money, but I love growth more than I love money. I love freedom more than I love money. What you're willing to tolerate in your business is the same shit that you tolerate in your life. How many of you guys are people pleasers? Raise your hand. How many of you guys people pleasers? Keep your hands up if you have a hard time giving negative feedback to your team. Your business is the ultimate mirror into your fucking soul, right? And so the trauma that you faced in your past will hold you back from being the leader that you must become because of whatever fucking limiting factor you have around human behavior and psychology. So my own abandonment issues were causing me to send negative fucking voice notes to people that I really gave a fuck about in my business. I had to look internally. I had to do the fucking work. It would have been really easy for me to go the rest of my life and be like, fuck that person for canceling their contract. And maybe some people would agree with me, but that's not the type of leader I want to be. Is that the type of leader you want to be, right? Our businesses are simply projections of our innermost thoughts. Otherwise, it would not be your business. It's yours and it belongs to you, meaning that everything in your business that manifests has to start and end with you, period. So I talked to you guys about how my whole team threw the event, right? Let's say something catastrophic happened in the event, which knock on wood. Yes, I would be like, what the fuck is this? But then I would go look at myself in the mirror and be like, hey, dumbass, you don't have a process for this. You guys get what I'm saying? Everything in my business that happens starts and ends with me. If my VAs are not performing at an optimal level, I go in there, I'm like, this isn't the fucking standard, but I accept responsibility, so I'm gonna lead you guys better. This is what we do here. What do we need to do to improve? I'm not like, you guys are fucking idiots. This is me, this is my business, and your work is my fault. So what can I do to help you out? How can I be a better leader? What do you need from me? How can I step up? Write this down. The business never outgrows the psychology of its leader. Write it down, underline it, sticky note it, Tony Robbins quote. I live by that. Anytime the business is plateaued, I take a look in the mirror and I'm like, what am I not facing? What do I need to go deeper on? Guys, and for me, I had major trust issues growing up. My home life wasn't exactly stable, all right? So my ability to trust people was pretty much fucking zero. How many of you guys resonate with that? I don't trust people. My home life was like, blah, 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 blah. So in my business, we talked about this yesterday. You're like, I don't fucking trust people in my business. That becomes a problem in your business because that leads to micromanagement. You're not letting go of tasks. You're thinking, I got this. I'm better than this motherfucker at this lead gen, so I'm gonna do it myself, right? My ability to not trust in people was my own internal insecurities. And because of that unresolved trauma from my own past, that ended up coming into the business and negatively impacting how I operated Pizza Domination. Through working through my own shit, I was able to release the feelings of negativity towards my mom. I was able to release my own abandonment issues. I was able to release the anger that I had held onto for fucking years. And as a result, I just started trusting people in my business more. Kirsten gets more angry at my mom than I do now. It's funny. I'm like, it's all good, mom. It's like, all good, I love you, it's all good. It's like, it doesn't bother me anymore because I did the work. I forgave her. It's over for me. It's done. Kirsten's like, no. That's my wife's defending me, all right? My wife's defending her. She's like protective of me. It's hilarious. But for me, it's no longer an issue. It's a non-issue. I see her and I'm like, hello, have a nice day, goodbye. Show of hands, how many of you guys know that you're the fucking problem? How many of you guys know I'm the fucking problem? It's me. Good, that was a fucking trick, okay? That was a trick. Because if you know that you're the fucking problem, that means that you also know that you're the solution. You understand what the fuck I'm saying? All of y'all put your hand up. All of y'all. All of y'all. You're the fucking solution. So many of you guys are like, oh, I'm the fucking problem. It's me. Then do something about it. Don't just be the fucking problem. I know I'm in my own way. Pity party bullshit. No wonder your business isn't growing. I know, Brian. I know. No, you fucking don't. If you knew, you would solve it. You're the fucking problem. You're the fucking problem. It's you. And you're the solution. To overcome my trauma from my past, I literally, this is not an exaggeration, went to therapy every single week for 6 months until I was finally at peace with what happened to me. It's not enough to know that you're the problem, you also have to commit to being the solution. To get deeper at overcoming my trauma from my past, I scheduled in for hypnotherapy and I revisited some of the experiences from my childhood that still haunted me. I still do hypnotherapy to this day. I would literally go into my hypnotherapist and like take me to talk to my mom when I was 8. I remember there was one hypnotherapy session, you guys can find it on YouTube if you want, it was fucking wild. My hypnotherapist took me back to like meet my mom when I was 8. She's like, I want you to go back to the most traumatic memory of your life. And so I like went back to this moment where I was in my kitchen with my mom. I was 8 years old and she called my grandma in front of me and she said, if you don't come pick Brian up right now, I'm gonna send him to live in foster care. And I remember being in that moment and then my hypnotherapist said to me, I want you to say everything that you've always wanted to say to your mom about that moment. And in that moment, I was like, I'm fucking like half like out of it, and I was just screaming at the top of my lungs, just like releasing all of that fucking anger that I've held onto for so long. And I got out of it, and I went up to Kirsten, and I was like, holy f***. I'm like, I'm free. It wasn't inside of me anymore. It wasn't inside of me anymore. I did the fucking work, and I was able to release it and let go. And now I can tell that story without the negative emotion attached to it. Somebody came up the other day and they were like, how do I work on myself? Everybody's different, man. Everybody has a different way to do this. There's like a bunch of ways I'm gonna show you guys in a second, but like, I sent Cole to hypnotherapy and he told the hypnotherapist to go fuck himself. But we're different, right? And so his therapy, he started fucking boxing and beating the shit out of people. And that released his anger issues, right? I'm serious. But he did the fucking work. He realized he had anger that he had to release. He tried hypnotherapy. He was like, this is fucking bullshit. I'm not a fucking hippie like you. And so he started beating people up. So listen, right? There's different ways to skin the cat. Don't beat people up. Yeah, I learned that from Brian, all right? I still do hypnotherapy to this day. To overcome my trauma from my past, I practice forgiveness so that I could release and let go of any of the chains that were shackling me to keep me from leading my people the way that I needed to lead my people. So do the internal work. Here are some things you guys can do. Talk therapy. Go talk to a fucking counselor, okay? I'm not your therapist, even though some of you guys treat me like one sometimes. I'm just joking. You guys don't do that in another Mastermind. Thank the Lord. Hypnotherapy is another thing you guys can do. Hypnotherapy. If you guys want a connection to a hypnotherapist, email me, brianmark@teamaenation.com, and I will introduce you to mine. She's fucking awesome. So I do the internal work for like my trauma, but I also go to my hypnotherapist. I'm like, introduce me to Brian Mark that makes $100 million a year. I want to meet that guy. And then I meet that version of myself, and I'm like, and I get that version of me to give me advice, then I go do it. So you can do the work to release your trauma. You can all do the work to build your vision. Spiritual experiences. JC asked me about this, so I'm going to tell you guys. How many of you guys know what 5-MeO is? Raise your hand. So I did 5-MeO, all right? 5-MeO, so did Kirsten. It's basically DMT, but a shortened version of it. And I found out from this from my fucking boy, one of my mentors, and he's like, you need to fucking go here, you need to do this, it's gonna change your life. And I went into it being like, fucking no. And then Kirsten was like, we have really good lives, we don't need to fucking go on some spiritual experience. So we went to a shaman, we got guided, this was in Kelowna, and both of us had this massive breakthrough. We're talking, like, I cannot put it into words, so I'm writing a book right now to try to explain it. Literally, it was fucking so powerful, it was so crazy, but I just went into that experience and I was like, take me to my creator, all right? I'm here. Do the internal work. Anything that's holding you back, you need to release it. Meditation. Those of you guys that are not meditating, fucking should be. That's one thing you can take from this experience immediately and go take action on. Meditate. Sit by yourself with your thoughts. What comes up? That's what's holding you back. Journaling. I don't fucking journal. I know Kirsten does. Cole does. Right? So that's why there's different fucking ways to skin the cat. And it's not like you should follow step 1, then step 2, then step 3, then step 4. You need to find what works for you. Cole tried hypnotherapy. He's like, not today, Junior. Right? Vision. Now, vision for me is something that you should do regardless. So the only one that I would say is like non-negotiable is your vision. You need to know where you're going, what you're doing, what your life's about, what your core values are, what fucking matters to you the most in life. Like, this is fucking important. Every single problem that happens in your business is because of you. And yes, that can seem like a lot of responsibility. It's because it is. But it also provides the ultimate freedom, because anything that happens in your business is on you. So no longer are you able to blame shitty clients for dropping off, or your VA for saying stupid shit in your DMs, or your closers not being able to close deals on the phone. It's fucking you. You are the problem. It starts with you. You are the problem, and that means that you're also the fucking solution. As soon as you understand this, that it starts and ends with you, the sooner that you realize that you actually have full control in your online coaching business, because ultimately the success of the business rests on your shoulders to do the work for your business and your life. Leadership starts and ends with you. So now we're gonna get into the 5 character flaws of weak leaders. Flaw number 1, lack of integrity. You won't catch me dead dropping what I'm responsible to do for pizza nomination, ever. Ask Fritzy, have I dropped anything once? Never, not once, not once. Lack of integrity is the biggest flaw that you can have as a leader. When you say you're gonna do something, fucking do it. Even if you don't want to, like Mariah said on stage the other day. If you say you're gonna fucking do something, do it. Even if you don't want to, because you said you were going to. You need to follow through on your word. Because if you don't follow through on your word, your team's gonna see that you're not leading by example, and you're also gonna be out of alignment by getting people to do the shit that you want them to do. How the fuck are you supposed to tell your team that you need to show up and do the work if you're not willing to? So when you tell them you need to do this better, this better, this better, they're gonna know that that's coming from a weak leader internally. Because you don't have the energy, you don't have the passion, you don't have the character. And it's not gonna be something that people will express with their words, it's gonna be something that they will fucking smell off of you. You can feel it. How many of you guys have ever met somebody you're like, I don't trust this motherfucker, as soon as you meet them? All of us, right? All of us. Lack of integrity is the number 1 flaw of weak leaders. Early 2021, I'm gonna talk about how I fucked this up. We were scaling the Millionaire Mastermind, and I wanted to buy back more of my time. And so what I did is I took myself out of coaching calls in the Millionaire Mastermind. How many of you guys were here when I did that? I took myself out of coaching calls in the Millionaire Mastermind. The problem is, I started a call called Combos with B, and then it wasn't Combos with B anymore. It was Combos with somebody else. And that's where I sit down as long as I need to help you unpack your business and like solve any problems. And I promised the students that they would get that, but by me scaling myself out of this, I actually broke my integrity with my students. And I broke my trust with my students. And my students showed up for me, they invested in the mastermind, and then I'm like, I'm fucking too busy. I broke integrity, I broke character, I broke trust. And the retention of the program suffered immensely. We went from like 100% retention rate. We were 100% retention rate, where's Janelle? For like 2 years. Anybody that would come up for a resign would resign, every single one. And then when I did that, it went from 100% to 30. I was a weak leader. I accept responsibility. And I still have relationships with some of the people that left, and I'm like, I understand why you left. I would have left too. I was shitty. With integrity, you have everything. Without integrity, you have nothing. This comes down to always fucking fulfilling on what you say you're gonna do for your people. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna show up for you guys. When Cole quit his job in 2017 to work for me full time, I had no fucking clue how I was gonna teach him how to make $10,000 a month. No idea. But I looked him and Julia in the eyes. We were drunk at a fucking bar in Calgary. Yeah, we were drunk, and I was like, I fucking got you. I was like, Julia, I got him, don't worry. And I fucking followed through. I kept my promise because I would rather die than break my integrity to that guy right there. And that's the level that you guys need to play at if you want to win. I would rather die than break my integrity to my team. I'd rather die than break my integrity to Janelle. I would rather die. Lack of integrity will destroy you. True integrity, meaning that you do the shit that you say you're gonna do, regardless of how the fuck you feel, will turn you into royalty. And we see it in this room. Integrity will turn you into royalty. Lack of integrity means you have fucking nothing. So that's where you need to focus. And this all starts with the little things, man. Like, if I can't get out of bed when I say I'm gonna get out of bed on time, good fucking luck building your business to $100,000 a month. Good fucking luck, bro. You ain't fucking serious, I'm sorry. If you were serious, you'd be doing the fucking work. Good fucking luck holding the line and setting the standard in your team when you can't even get your lazy ass out of bed on time. Good fucking luck. Good luck believing that you will ever hit $100,000 a month, because right now, you don't even believe that you're gonna get out of bed when your alarm clock goes off. Lack of integrity will destroy you from within. This is the ultimate enemy within. To say that you are going to do something and then to not follow through breaks trust with yourself and with the people on your team and in your business. You're letting your family down, you're letting your wife down, you're letting your kids down, and you're letting your community members down every single time you say you're gonna do something and you don't follow through. Flaw number 2, lack of clarity. And so let's just pretend, okay, we're gonna go into fucking imagination land. Let's just pretend that you're the captain of a ship, right? We've got 5 people on board with you, and each person serves a different purpose. One of them is responsible for the engine downstairs, making sure that the boat runs. One of them is responsible for steering the ship in the direction. One of them is responsible for knowing the weather patterns. One of them is responsible for preparing all the meals. And one of them is responsible for communications with the outside world. Okay, so you're a ship captain, you're in the middle of the ocean, and there's 5 people that are on the boat, and everybody knows what the fuck you're supposed to do. The question is, where are you going? Most of you motherfuckers don't even know where you're going. So you got all these people on your boat, they're on your squad, and they're fucking rowing the boat, and they're steering, and they're like, what direction are we going? And you're like, I don't fucking know. I thought you were gonna tell me that. Most of you guys don't know where the fuck you're going. It's crazy. You got an entire team of people that are ready at your disposal to do exactly what you direct them to do. Like if you wanted to go to fucking France, they're like, sounds good, Captain, let's go to France. But you don't even know that. There are people that are simply waiting for your command. They're all responsible for certain operations of the ship that cause the ship to afloat on the water with the potential to go anywhere. But where the fuck are you going? You're the captain of the ship. So it's your responsibility to be like, we're going fucking here, and you should be excited, and you should be excited, and you should be excited because it's gonna be fucking awesome. That's your job as the leader. Where the fuck are we going? You're the captain that gives the commands on where we're going and why we're going there in the first place. This applies on a small scale and a large scale, okay? So on a large scale, yes, you need to give direction on like where the fuck the ship is going. This is where we're going, this is the destination, this is where we're headed. And this also applies on a small scale. Meaning that you guys need to have one-on-one relationships with each individual member of the team, and they need to know what they're doing and why they're doing it. This is where most of you guys are fucking up. You don't have a one-on-one relationship with everybody on your team, and then you just expect them to follow orders and follow the shadow coach SOP when you talk to them once a week on a Zoom call for 10 fucking minutes, right? They don't know what they're doing, they don't know why they're doing it, they don't know why it's important, why would they do it? And they need to know exactly how to do it. Like, if I'm in the middle of an ocean, I wouldn't just trust that somebody knew how the fucking boat engine worked. Right? I'm like, please, make sure we don't die. As the captain of my damn ship, I'd spend as much time as possible to make sure this MF knew the engine like the back of his ass. This guy, you better know your fucking engine. You better know how to turn it off, turn it on, restart it, all of it. I'm gonna teach you all that because I'm the captain of the ship and I get everything. So like, this is exactly how you fucking operate this engine. So where are you going? What are the roles of each team member? Why is each team member's role important? This is fucking huge. A lot of you guys have VAs and you're like, book me calls. And they're like, okay. What I do is I'm like, let's change some lives. By the way, here's Chloe and Harry who signed up with us a year ago, and one of you guys sent them a DM that said hi, and then they signed up and they gave us every last dollar in their bank, and as a result of doing that, now they're able to provide a life of freedom for their family, and they fucking love us. They're traveling all over the world, spending more time with their kids because you, as my VA, did your job. That's how I lead. Like my coaches on my team, same fucking thing. Showing them why they're doing what they're doing, talking about why each role is so fucking important. What's the step-by-step instruction for each role? You got somebody on your team you expect to do a certain thing, you better have like step 1, step 1.1, step 1.2, step 1.3, step 1.4, step 4, step 5, step 6, the whole thing. And again, this is where a lot of you guys fuck up, so take a screenshot of this. How well is the step-by-step instruction programmed into each team member? Like for you to think about lead gen, Clay, you don't have to think about lead gen. You fucking open your phone, you're like, bam. But if you hire somebody new on your team, even if they quote unquote have experience, you can't expect them to be as good as you. And you're like, you fucking idiot, just follow the DM script, right? If it was that easy, like we wouldn't need to train people. We wouldn't, like you guys wouldn't be in the fucking Millionaire Mastermind. Like there's like, obviously there's a DM script, there's also the psychology behind the DM script and why it works and why it's important and what questions to ask. And you understand all the little nuances of that. So not only do you need to have step-by-step clear instructions, but you also need to be committed to making sure that these are programmed into your team so that your team knows how to do it as good or better than you without you there. I don't even look at my DMs anymore. I'm not even lying. I'll jump in there and send a voice note. Or like somebody like fucking Carter and Alyssa who are already making $40,000 a month. Like they're not stupid. So I'll send a voice note. So I'm like, I'm gonna talk to these guys. But for the most part, like I'm not even in there. My team is better at my DMs than I am most of the time. But it's because I train them. And you guys were who here has been in the Millionaire Mastermind while you watched me train my team? I like did 5 Zoom calls a week, every week for 6 months. And they got so good that every time I did a Zoom call, by the end of it, I was like, I don't need to give you guys feedback anymore. But I just programmed over and over and over and over and over again through repetition. Flaw number 3, lack of passion. You lost passion for growing your business, feeling like you're burned out, feeling like you're tired, feeling like you're exhausted, feeling like it's too hard, then go fucking work at McDonald's, okay? Or go back to the academy, where you don't have to have responsibility and it's just you. I don't know what to tell you. No disrespect to you, but having passion for your business is an absolute necessity to achieving success and being a great level leader. So if you don't have it, that's the only thing you get back. You need to have passion for your business. Imagine if I came up here and I was fucking sitting here like a dumbass. You gotta have passion for your business, right? I do look great, thank you. A lot of you guys are leading like this though. You're just showing up to your Zoom calls with your team. You're going over your DMs with your team, monotone. This is how you lead. How do you expect people to follow you? I wouldn't follow you. If you're showing up demotivated to your team meetings, to your live streams, to your coaching calls, how the fuck are you expecting people on your boat to be excited about the destination that we're heading to if it seems like you're not even excited about the destination that we're heading to, and you're also not excited about the process of getting there? I love the journey and the destination. I love where we're going and what we're doing right now. It's fucking dope. This is the vicious cycle of entrepreneurs, okay? So we work so hard at achieving a breakthrough in our business, then we come up and get this roadblock, bam! And so we try and we try and we try and we try and we're trying so hard to break through the ceiling. We're like stuck at 20K. We're trying. And then eventually the roadblock seems insurmountable, so we end up getting frustrated and losing hope. How many of you guys have ever been there? Whether that be at an income plateau, at a ceiling, or hiring a team member, whatever, you get stuck. You're like, I feel like I want to give up. And we know we want to be successful, but we end up losing hope that a bigger life is around the corner. And as a result of losing hope for what's possible in our business, we lose passion for the business. And it's all because there's a roadblock and you got stuck. Business is fun when I don't see roadblocks. I just see shit that's about to get fucking destroyed. I'm like, I like it. Sign me up. Adversity. My speech on Friday, none of my videos worked. I'm like, whatever. I don't need a fucking video. I also don't need a microphone. I'll yell at you guys. I don't view adversity as something that stops me. I view it as something that shapes me. A lot of you guys come up against a roadblock in your income and your plateau and your business and your content, and you're just like, ugh. It's so hard. This has nothing to do with the fact that you can't fucking do it, and has everything to do with the fact that you're in your own way and you need to get out of it. You are the roadblock. You are the roadblock. It's fucking you, okay? The roadblock is you. And here's the beautiful thing about that. The reason that you don't have passion right now is because you don't have hope. Came into the Millionaire Mastermind being like, I'm gonna be the next Don Lamb. And then you realize how fucking hard it was, and you're like, nope, I'm just gonna settle for a mediocre fucking business. And the reason you don't have hope is because you lost trust or faith that a bigger fucking life is right around the corner for you. And so if you want to get that passion back, you want to get that fire back, you can, and it all starts with the shit that we're talking about in today's presentation. Get the fire back. You deserve it, you need it, so does your fucking team. Flaw number 4, lack of structure. Go do stuff. That's pretty much how most of you guys lead. Go do stuff. You guys bring a VA on board, and then you're like, book me calls. Go do stuff. They're like, what stuff? And you're like, give me calls booked. And they're like, how? And you're like, I don't know, that's your job. This is how most of you guys lead. You have no fucking structure to your leadership. There's no step-by-step direction. There's no role plays. There's no training. There's no patience. Think about how you guys coach your clients, right? So you got weekly check-ins with your clients, right? They're responsible for filling the weekly check-in. You're responsible for getting back. There's a Facebook group where they're all instructed to ask questions when they're needed, right? You know, they know if they're ever struggling with anything, they can reach out to you for help and support. This structure ultimately leads to your clients losing weight, feeling great, and loving your service. This structure is exactly the same structure that you have to take into your business as a leader. This is how you do stuff. It's not go do stuff, it's like this is how you do stuff. This is why we do stuff. This is why your role is super important. This is why I fucking need you. This is the fucking standard for how we operate. This is the step-by-step instruction. This is me giving a fuck about your success and training you until you get it. If you don't clearly outline exactly how you want things done for your coaching business, how can you expect a person coming in after you to do as good of a job or better than you? If you don't have a solid training and coaching structure in place for your team members in your coaching business, how can you expect them to get better over time? There was a period last month where my closers were like, usually we close at like 35 to 50% on our sales calls. There was a period of time in our last month where it was like 2 weeks where it was like 15%. I was like, the business is on fire right now. But I was like, I don't have a solid training structure in place. That's my bad. I'm not gonna get mad at my closers. Like, that's my bad. I know that if I was on the calls, I could close them. How many of you guys feel like that? If I was in my DMs, I could book the calls. That just means you need to train your team better. Because if you know you could book them, then that means you know your team can book them. So you need to have a solid training structure in place. If you don't have a structured communication platform or expected communication cadence, and this is important as well, expected communication cadence. Every single day, to start the day, I open up my phone and I see a sales report from the previous day. That's the communication cadence. Every single day, as soon as somebody's sold into the CLA, the 10K Mastermind, the Millionaire Mastermind, the VA or the closer comes into the chat and they're like, boom, sold, and then everybody drops a GIF, and then we count the sales for the month, and then we onboard the client. That's the communication cadence. It would be unacceptable for somebody to get sold and then not communicate it to my team immediately. That's unacceptable. That's not how we communicate. So there's an expected communication cadence. We have, obviously you guys know that we have weekly meetings, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But there should be an expected communication cadence for your one-on-one calls with your team members. So what's the expected communication cadence? How often are we meeting? And then when we are meeting, what are we talking about? What's the structure of the meeting? Create more structure for your team members. Create more structure for your business. This is how you do stuff. This is your company and you need to have standards for how it operates. Flaw number 5, lack of patience. I'm not gonna lie, Cole already said it, that was me. Fucking in the corner right there. Bam! Ticking time bomb. I was a fucking ticking time bomb in certain parts of Pizza Domination. I sure as fucking glad that my team stuck with me through that. Thank you, Britzy, hallelujah. All right, you're a saint. There were some days where I'd be the happiest kid alive, and then one wrong move and I'd fucking go off the deep end. Anybody of you guys have ever done that? I'm not proud of it. Like, what the fuck is this? I'm honestly not proud of it, and for a long time my team was scared to come to me with problems. Like, I don't want to fucking deal with that guy. They go talk to Cole, because they didn't want to deal with me fucking blowing a gasket. I'm not proud of it. That was a flaw in my leadership. I get it. Running a business is fucking hard. Too bad. It's your business. Sorry. McDonald's is hiring. Go back to the CLA. Make 10K a month. That's good. If that's what you want to do. I literally, no disrespect. It's fucking hard. Deal with it. It always starts and ends with you. Knowing this, it's not my team's fault when they fuck up. It's my fault. My team isn't closing. My fault. My VAs aren't booking calls. My fault. My coach doesn't show up for a live stream. My fault. I clearly didn't fucking explain how important it is to never fucking miss. My responsibility. I didn't do my job properly in training them and leading them. My fault. Or I put the wrong person in the wrong seat on the bus. How many of you guys have ever done that? Again, your fault, right? Or I didn't pay attention to the red flags when they kept happening. Or I was a bad judge of character. It's me, and it's always me. It's never been anyone else. So getting mad at other people isn't gonna solve the fucking problem for my business, because I'm the problem. Now, some of you guys will take that and start to be like, oh, I'm the problem. I'm such a fucking idiot, right? It's me. It's always been me. Shit. Like, yes, take that responsibility, but then be like, okay, I'm gonna do something about it. And I'm gonna take action on everything Brian's about to go over in the 5 laws of leadership. And I'm gonna fucking follow through, and I'm gonna be integral, and I'm gonna start showing up, and my business is going to transform as a result of what I learned today. Are you guys with me? Yeah. Perfect. I just put this here because I think it's funny. Inhale, exhale. Okay. 5 character flaws in weak leaders. Flaw number 1, lack of integrity. Flaw number 2, lack of clarity. Flaw number 3, lack of passion. Flaw number 4, lack of structure. Flaw number 5, lack of patience. These are the things you must avoid. Part of knowing where to go is knowing where not to go. Self-assessment. Which one do you need to work on the most? When you get to $10,000 to $15,000 a month, it's pretty fucking clear how to make that on repeat, right? You don't really have to think about that. You guys get that? And then when you start adding team members, it adds complexity. And each team member that you add adds a little bit more complexity to your business, am I right? And so, yes, we've got SOPs and trainings and procedures that they can follow, but there's still complexity in the business, because even if these people are following these things, they still have to work within the ecosystem and the organization of the team. And so it's gonna take a little bit of time for you to figure out how these things all work together. And so sometimes, and that's why sometimes we need to slow down to speed up, like Anthony Anismov. When you're fucking hitting $50,000 a month, and I'm like, you need to slow the fuck down, bro. Like, you need to build the back end, you need to build the infrastructure, and you need to have clarity on how people are doing things in the back end, so that with that clarity, now you know you can bring on more people, and you know how they're gonna be served in the ecosystem. Does that make sense? So every level that you guys climb to adds a little bit more complexity to the business, and so you as the leader need to be able to see all these things happening and understand them as much as you possibly can. So sometimes you need to slow down to speed up. Okay. Let's get into my 5 laws of leadership. Law number 1, sell the dream. People are following you, so where are you going? And I know that you might know where you're going, because you're smart, talented, handsome, beautiful, whatever, but does your team know where you're going? How can you expect people to be ride or die for your company if they don't know where you're going, why you're going there, or what the purpose of their work actually is? It is your responsibility to sell the dream over and over and over and over again to your people. You need to make them see and make them believe that the work that they are doing is contributing to a larger purpose, a greater good, not just your bank account. Sell the dream. That's law number one. You need to sell the fucking dream. And when you're selling the dream, don't just sell your dream. You need to also sell their dream. You've got to sell the dream for the company for sure. And like, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing, this is the destination, this is like where we're gonna end up, these are the process to get there. But why are you doing the things that you're doing? What's the purpose of your business? What sort of impact we're making on the planet? But you also need to sell them on their specific job title. Like why it is so fucking important, how it plays a key role in the overall operation of the dream, and why you need them to be an elite performer in their role. Britzy knows, she's like the glue that holds this ship together. She knows it. And there's a standard that I set. And the reason I set that standard is like, if you're not on your shit, I can't be on my shit. I can't serve people. I can't lead people. Your job is one of the most important jobs in my company, being the operations manager. Without you, I'm not going to be able to do what I need to do. So I need you to show up as your very fucking best. I need you to be elite. I need to never even think about the operations of my business. When I have a problem, you need to solve it. Period. I don't care how that happens. Your responsibility to solve the fucking problem. That is super fucking important. Finally, you need to sell them on their dream. Figure out what their biggest goals are, their biggest dreams, their biggest aspirations, and then create a space where you can help them realize their dreams underneath your guidance and leadership. This is your primary role as the CEO of your business. Number one, you must have a vision, a dream, a destination that you'd like to reach so that it's crystal clear that you can describe it to your company in vivid detail to the people that are working for you. You must sell the dream over and over and over again. It's your only job. And then with each individual role in your business, they must have a crystal clear understanding and knowing not only what their job is, but why it's so important and how it contributes to the greater good. And then you need to sell them on that dream over and over and over and over and over again. Law number one, sell the fucking dream. Write it down. Remember it. Embody it in your fucking company. Your people need to know where you're going and why it's important. Law number two, the 3-mistake rule. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. When people fuck up at your company, the first thing that you need to do is take it on the chin. My bad. Clearly I didn't fucking explain why this is important, and I accept full responsibility for that, and I've been a shitty leader. I'm gonna step up. That's step number one. There's a reason they fucked up. I also believe that the first mistake at my company is a result of improper training or an unclear SOP on my end. Every mistake that happens, my bad. I accept full responsibility. I always chalk it up to that, and then I do everything in my power to up to the SOP and make it extremely clear. That's not how we do things here. This isn't how we operate. This is not the feature domination standard. That's my job. I also have patience, and my rule is that the first mistake is always 100% my bad. My bad. I didn't show up properly. I didn't do what the fuck I was supposed to do. I didn't lead you properly. I didn't give you the clear guidance and instruction that you needed. Now, after I implement the proper training and the proper guidance, if the mistake happens again, the first thing I do is, again, I look in the mirror. Did I actually do my fucking job updating the SOP properly? Did I actually train this person properly? Did I actually show them the step-by-step process on exactly what I need done? I did? Okay. So if I did, perfect. Now I issue a fucking warning. So first, my bad, we fix it. Then I look internally. If I realize I did my shit, I trained them properly, we spent 2 weeks on Zoom calls going over this, now it's your bad. This counts as the first mistake. I let the employee know that they made an error, and I let them know that we've already discussed this error. I've already had this conversation with you 2 weeks ago. We did 2 weeks of training to solve the problem, and this happens again, this is a problem for me. I strongly suggest the employee rectifies the behavior immediately and asks if there's anything that I can do to further support the solution. This is not acceptable, this is not what we do here. Is there anything that you need from me so that this doesn't happen again? Because if you're a coach on my team, you post 5 times a week, period. Otherwise, we don't give you leads. If you don't like that, go work somewhere else. And so if somebody posts 4 times a week, you're like, my bad. I didn't explain it properly. Maybe I didn't make it super clear that you need to post 5 times a week. Let's sit down, let's go over your content schedule for the next 7 days. This is your content schedule for the week. Blah, 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 blah. We train, we implement. It happens again 2 weeks later, that's your fucking bad. We already talked about this. I strongly suggest you do not repeat this behavior. The second mistake that happens is where a hard disciplinary line gets drawn. And a lot of you guys struggle with this. And how many of you guys have people in your company that are not performing? Raise your hand. And then a lot of you guys do not draw a hard disciplinary line because you don't want to offend people. You don't want to upset people. You don't want to piss people off. For me, What that looks like, loss of commission. So if it's like my sales guy as an example that isn't fucking updating the sales team, or my sales team that like doesn't onboard a client properly and I give them a warning and it happens again and again and again, I'm like, I'm taking away the commission from that sale. Hard disciplinary action. Or a written letter that states the errors that they made and they let the employee know that this behavior happens again, they're gonna be out of a job. Happens again, you're out. 3-strike rule. I've also done this as a text. Just basically a big formal written warning that if the person does not rectify the behavior, then I cannot have them as part of the team. I've also done this on a Zoom call, where I get on Zoom and I'm able to express me and Cole have done this, where you express our feelings to this person that made a massive mistake, and we just gauge the reaction. Do they get triggered right away? Do they get defensive? Do they get angry? Or do they take it on the chin and say, sorry, my bad. I apologize, it won't happen again. Sometimes I do it on a Zoom call. If it's a key role in your company, it should probably be a Zoom call. But either way, first mistake, my bad. Second mistake, your bad. The third mistake is also my fucking bad. I'll tell you why. Because the third mistake is I'm no longer willing to tolerate this behavior. That's the third mistake. If somebody makes the third mistake in your company that feeds your family, they keep dropping the ball over and over again, even though you've given them the coach and the guidance, the direction, the structure, everything, you can no longer accept that fucking behavior. I no longer am willing to tolerate this. One of my favorite quotes, I talked to Emily about this on the bench, is I'd rather have no breath than bad breath. I don't want somebody in my company just because they're my only shadow coach that fucking sucks. Because I'm just gonna have to do the work anyways. You're gone. Peace out. Nice to know you. Sayonara. See you later. Like, I'd rather have no breath than bad breath. Meaning I would rather suffer the pain of not having a key person in their role doing a shitty job of what they're doing than have them doing the job but sucking ass at it and having me to have to go back and double back and fix all the shit they fucked up on. How many of you guys have ever felt like you need to do that? Yep, just fixing up my team members' mistakes again. Here we go. That isn't somebody worth getting paid by me. I need to kick them off my fucking boat. No disrespect to you, but I'm here to win a championship. And you clearly don't have what it takes to fucking run with the big dog, so peace out. I'm not gonna say that to you. That's how I feel, and I'm gonna act on that in a nice, professional, polite, productive manner. Make sense? Do not tolerate it. Law number 3 is the standard of excellence. PT Domination is excellent at everything that we do. We are fucking excellent. That means that the people on my team need to be fucking excellent at everything that they do, because I'm not gonna accept anything less than excellence from myself. So why the fuck would I accept average level behavior from somebody that's on my team, especially somebody that I'm paying? Excellence is the standard, which means I do not tolerate low level behavior. I don't tolerate it. The VAs that didn't perform got fired. End of the story. That was it. I don't care how long you were with me. I'm not willing to tolerate lack of numbers being hit. If our numbers aren't being hit, I'm telling you, they hear from me. I'm a lot more calm now than I used to be, right, Miguel? I'm more calm. I am more calm. Thank you. I'm better now. They still fucking hear from me though. They know if there's like days on end where the numbers aren't being hit, they know that's not the fucking standard. It's not only not the standard for our company, but I know that Samuel doesn't like getting small commission checks. So when we're not hitting our numbers, I'm like, hey motherfucker, do you like getting paid? The fuck? What's going on? I thought you liked making money. You want me to send you a small check? I don't fucking know. That's not the standard. The standard is excellence. I'm not willing to tolerate numbers not being hit. A lot of you guys are tolerating your numbers not being hit, am I right? They're like, it's okay, they're only booking 1 call a day. It's okay, they're only fucking booking 0 calls a day. It's okay that no calls got booked in 2 fucking weeks. It's okay that my coaches on my team have dropped the ball for a month. It's okay, it's all okay. It's fucking okay, it's okay. It's all good, it's all good. Everything's fine, it's not fine in my world. I'm not willing to tolerate our sales targets not being hit. I'm not willing to accept a mediocre result, which means that I'm not willing to accept a mediocre team. This is the standard. Say it, I am a great leader.
I'm a great leader.
I am a great leader.
I'm a great leader.
Which means you need to lead. If people aren't hitting their fucking numbers, you need to lead. If this was an NFL team fighting for a championship, do you think the captain would let his fucking players bitch out on the field? Let his players like sit down and complain about the fact that they're so tired and they've had to play 17 games this season? Shut the fuck up and get back in the game, dog. We're here to win. That's the standard. I'm leading my fucking people. If you ain't meeting that standard, you ain't on my team. Having the standard of excellence is hard, and I'll tell you why. Because that means you need to spend a fuckload more time training your team to make sure they're as good or better than you. And Miguel was here the whole time. Sam was here the whole time. I trained you guys fucking 5 days a week for 6 months? Now I don't need to train them anymore. I look at their DMs and I'm like, yep, that's as good as I would do. Yep, that was better than I would do. Yep, that was gangster. Yep, love that too. But that's my standard, is excellence. So if my standard is excellence, I better be training that into my people. I can't just be like, standard of excellence, book 10 calls a day, David. He's like, I don't fucking know, but that's my standard. Figure it out. Having a standard of excellence is fucking hard because you need to train people to be better than you. That means that you need to have the guts to have conversations with your team when they're not meeting the standard. That means you have to be okay with the fact that you're gonna be fucking disliked. My job as a leader isn't for you to like me. My job as a leader is to tell the fucking truth. My main job as a leader is to fucking get to where we're going. And so this is the destination. This is where we're going. If you fucking up, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna train you so that you can help me get here faster. But like, we're going here. So like, let's fucking go. Get up or drown. You're gonna have to be okay with the fact that some people on your team right now are going to leave when you raise the water line. It's the fucking point. They weren't supposed to be there anyways. Raise the water line, people either meet the new standard or they drown. That's the point. You either rise up or you drown. All of these are essential parts of creating a standard of excellence, and we're gonna talk about raising the water line. When you raise the standard in your coaching business for what you're willing to tolerate when you're not willing to tolerate, one of two things will happen. Thing number one, certain people on your team will raise to meet those new standards, because if they do not, they know that they will not survive in their ecosystem. So they'll raise, they'll meet the standard, they'll step the fuck up, they'll show up, they'll fill the gap. This is where you'll have people showing up early, taking notes, asking questions, fired up, ready to execute. How many of you guys have somebody like that on your team right now? Right? It's fucking dope. Certain people on your team will not raise to meet your standard, and they will start growing resistant and resentful towards your coaching business. How many of you guys have ever experienced that? Right? This is where you'll have to start chasing them down, ask them why they keep fucking up, why they're late for meetings, why they missed their posts, why they didn't hit their numbers, blah, 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 blah. Raise your hand if you've ever dealt with that. You raise the standard, they get resistant. So here's what I do, okay? If that's the case, I take it on the chin. If the standard in your business is shit, you need to take it on the chin. And this is what you need to do, okay? This is how I'm gonna give you guys something practical that you can take away from today, have a meeting with your team and let them know how you're gonna fucking operate moving forward, okay? This is exactly what you're gonna do. You're gonna have a meeting with your team, be like, hey guys, I'd like to formally apologize because I've been a shit leader. I did not let you guys know about the standard of how we do things at Peach Domination, so I'm sorry, and moving forward, that will not happen again. Moving forward, the standard here is fucking excellence in everything that we do, period. Which means specifically, we've been booking 5 calls a week right now, and that's unacceptable. The minimum standard that we need to be booking is 10. So for the next few weeks, I'm gonna train you every day for an hour until we're booking 10 calls per week like we should be. That's the new standard. I accept responsibility, I've been a leader. Moving forward, that is not the case. We have a new fucking standard here, and it's gold. Lastly, I'll save you some time. If you followed all of these steps and they didn't take any action, you followed the 3 mistake law, and the same mistake keeps happening over and over and over again, fire them. Save you some time, fire them. But it sucks, but they do all my stuff, but they do this. They don't do very fucking good, and you must like having a mediocre business. If you have somebody in your business that you know is fucking up, but you're like, oh, well, they take some work off my plate. So it ain't that bad. Law number 4, lead with love and fear. Listen, I love every single person that works in my company at Peach Domination. I really do. I have a genuine love for that, and I think they know that. I really fucking do. If you're ride or die with Peach Domination, you're my fucking person. But I'm here to win the fucking Super Bowl, baby, all right? Cole and I are the best business coaches on the internet, which means our organization needs to have the best players in the best seats on the bus, period. And I don't care who it is, I just want the best player. I don't care if you're born in Calgary or Texas. I just want the person that's gonna show up and do the fucking best job. For that reason, I'm gonna play the best players. Here's what that means. If you continue to be one of the best players, you get to keep your position. It's pretty fucking simple. Just keep doing what you're doing. You keep showing up, you keep rocking out, you keep executing, you keep raising your own standard, you keep demanding more of yourself, you get to keep your position. Just be the best. That's it. But if you ain't helping me win, there's the fucking door. That's love and fear. I love you guys. We're here to win. But if you're not on my team to win, I don't have a space for you. That's love and fear. Now, do I sort of tell people, you don't have a 6-pack, you're fucking fired? I don't resonate with that level of leadership. I don't think that, for me, is conducive. I don't resonate with that. Here's how I use that principle, is I straight up tell my team that we're here to win, and I'm gonna put the best players in the best seats on the bus to give us the highest probability of winning. And I'm not attached to who the best player is. I don't care. I just want the person that has the highest chance of success to get the most opportunities, period. If somebody catches every ball that I throw him when he's in the end zone, I'm gonna throw that motherfucker some more touchdowns, right? So if you've got a coach in your team that closes at a really high rate, and you've got somebody that closes at a dog shit rate, guess what? The person that has the high close rate getting all the leads. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't like that? That's unfair. Go somewhere else. It's my business. I'm the fucking captain. Where's Luke? Is Luke here? Lucas! Oh, he's not here. Of course he's not. He's sick. He's got some dengue fever or something. I'm just joking. He doesn't. So Luke, I had 3 closers on my team. And it was Luke and there was 2 other ones. And Luke had the highest closing percentage, but we were evenly distributing the calls to every member of the team because I'm like, that's what's fair. That's what's the best, blah, blah, blah. And then one day I just made a decision. I'm like, Luke's the best player on the team. I'm going to give them the most opportunities, and that's just how it is. And if people don't like it, they can suck it. So I had a team meeting with my team members, and I was like, listen, guys. Oh, hi. You want to come on stage? Yeah, make some noise for Luke. What's up, bro? How you doing? Very good. So Luke, best closer on the team. So I had a meeting with the team, and I'm like, hey, guys, this might offend you, but Luke's the best closer on the team. So Luke's getting all the sales opportunities. And if you don't like that, start closing at a higher percentage than Luke. And now he's fucking crushing it. My man.
Always was crushing it.
Always was crushing it. See, that's why he's the top closer. That's why he's the top closer, because he always was crushing it. That's right. So at PT Domination, I lead with love for my people first, but I ultimately lead with love for the vision. That's where I lead from. I have way too much love for my vision to let anybody on my team that's not going to help me get there. I know where the fuck I'm going. I know what it's going to take to get there. And if you're on my team and you're not helping me get there, you're fucking gone, period, end of story, no questions asked. And that's where the fear comes into place, right? Because people know this isn't like, I'm not going to give you a fucking retirement plan. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is like, you're here to win. You show up every day like that. You have a place on my team. Ride or die, awesome. That's why I love Janelle. I can call Janelle at 10 p.m. on a Saturday being like, hey, I got a new $1 Million Mastermind student. Can you onboard them? She's like, yep, got it. Because she knows. I've told her this before. I'm like, you're the best person on the bus. You'll continue to be that as long as you keep being it. So if you are here to win, good, because that's what we're here to do. And if you're not here to win, I will find somebody that wants to win to replace you, period. I'm committed to the destination. I'm unattached to the people that are gonna help me get there. I've created a culture of winning because that's the only level that I'm willing to tolerate. I will not make up for other people's work because they do not do it properly. I will not make excuses for people because they've got going on in their life. I will not accept anything less than excellent when it comes to my business at PT Domination. So although I love the people that work at PT Domination, I love the mission of PT Domination more, and I will always put people in positions that want to see PT Domination win the most. Law number 5, leaders are respected. Notice how I didn't say leaders are liked. Because as a leader, you're in this constant paradox between you work for me and I have an established relationship with you because you work for me, right? It's like you work for me, but we're also kind of friends. So it's a constant paradox. So it's very easy to get those lines blurred. Somebody that's your homie, also your friend, works for your business, and they fuck up, and you're like, oh, but they're a homie, you know? That's my homie. They're good. They'll come back. They're good, right? They'll come around. Cole and I have made that mistake very, very, very many times. And Cole's actually better at it than I am. I have the biggest heart ever. Somebody comes into the business, I'm like, you want a key role? Good. You're pretty good at this thing. You want to take over? Cole's like, fuck that person. No way. We'll let someone get too close and all of a sudden they view themselves as our homie instead of our employee. And because we're homies, they feel like they can get away with more than we're willing to tolerate from other people, right? And sometimes, again, I've done this. I've had friends in my business that did shit. I'm like, if you weren't my friend, I'd fire you yesterday. But you're my friend, so it's okay. It's not okay. I made a decision. I will never be liked as a leader. That is not my goal, to be liked as a leader. Instead, I will seek to be respected. Now, I still have personal relationships with every single member of my team. Janelle knows I ride or die for her. Anything she needs, I'm there. Cole knows that. Britzy knows that. They all know that. However, when it comes down to the fact that sometimes I need to draw a clear, firm, hard line, you better believe I don't hesitate for a second. It's my business. And if you're around, you're with it, you're gonna know. I love my business too much to let somebody else fuck with it. So if there's something in a department in my business that somebody's doing, something that an individual is doing that I don't resonate with, I draw a very clear and a very hard line. This is not what we do here. That means people aren't gonna like you. We were homies, and all of a sudden, you're being so fucking strict. They're not gonna like you. Get used to it. It's your fucking business. There's been times where I've literally headed into conversations with, sometimes it's Janelle, sometimes it's Britzy, sometimes it's Thomas, sometimes it's Cole, sometimes it's Austin, sometimes it's Harris. I head into those conversations knowing that the other person on the other end of that screen is not gonna like what I have to say. This person is not gonna like this. Cole's done the same thing for me. Headed into conversations knowing I was not gonna like what he had to say. That's it. You have to be willing to do that. Having a conversation with their VA and being like, I know you're not gonna like this, but like, this isn't what we do here anymore. like you need to start booking calls, you ain't gonna be here. It's completely irrelevant whether or not you like me because I like me, right? Like I fucking like me. I like me, you know? I don't give a shit if you like me or not because I like me. It'd be cool if you like me. Austie pants, especially you with a nice beard. But I fucking like me, okay? And I like me too much to let you with how my business operates. And so if there's something in your business, or something in my business that's causing me to feel frustrated, overwhelmed, agitated, then I'm gonna make sure that you know about it, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to hold the standard for what's acceptable, and then I'll coach you to meet the new standard. Anything less than that, though, is unacceptable. So my 5 laws of leadership: law number 1, sell the dream. Law number 2, the 3-mistake rule. First mistake, my bad. Second mistake, your bad. Third mistake, my bad again, you're fired. Law number 3, the standard of excellence. Law number 4, lead with love and fear. Law number 5, leaders are respected. And that's it.